Hello world, it's me, Spectral Vectors. I'm back with another update for the Blender macro board. Since the last video, there have been a couple of really big updates, a couple of features that I think it really needed. So it is really coming together, and without further ado, let's check it out. So there has been a slight visual tweak to it. You might be able to tell this toggle switch has been swapped out for a rotary encoder, and the reset button that I kind of had just hanging off the side, I actually mounted into the case. It's not actually a chassis mount button, so it's a little loose in there, but it gives you a better idea of what I think the final layout will probably end up looking like. Okay, all the code is available on the GitHub page here, but let's just go straight into Blender. So the big change here is, well, you know what? Let's look at this first. So the add-on shows you which page you're on here at bottom right-hand corner, same as before. This time, though, it's lit up because it's an operator. When you click on it, it'll tell you the name of the page and what each button on that page does. So top three, the globals, these represent this reset button here. Then scrub timeline is this rotary encoder. Page change is this button. Then under buttons, we've got this matrix, 3x3 matrix of buttons, which is this 3x3 matrix of buttons here, which isn't actually wired up as a matrix, but anyway. Then underneath, you've got rotary 1 and the three functions that it can do, the left turn, the right turn, and the press. So that's rotary 1. Then you've got rotary 2, left turn, right turn, press, and rotary 3, left turn, right turn, press. So if we rotate the first one, it should rotate X plus and minus. So I think I demoed this in the last one. And of course, because we can keyframe rotation here, I thought it would be nice to add. So the top wheel just scrubs the timeline back and forth. And then the bottom three are keyframing individual axes for rotation. And then the top one, when you push it, will also play and pause. But the big change here is that page changes, and let's go back to this one. Running the script is now happening behind the scenes. So I now have a serial link happening between the Pico and Blender, between the Blender add-on and the Pico board, so that the board can now share variables with the add-on in Blender. And that is how we get stuff like the page name and all of the page functions as we change pages. And once again, if you wanted to see what any of this looks like, or if you want to edit this, one of my favorite ways is to just right-click on the drive itself and say open with code, and that will open the entire drive. And I'll pull this onto my other screen, and then you can see the full layout of everything. So again, code is the main sort of brain that runs, but you don't really need to edit this because the rest of the stuff here, layout, is where you make all the changes that you need to make. Short codes and base, anything that has an underscore before it, is sort of like a system file, something that the user doesn't really need to edit, but this will explain how everything works. There's a couple of helper functions that will allow you to run scripts or just send single commands. That's how we're changing pages now. And then there's all of the individual pages. So you can see buttons, all of the buttons laid out with their name on top, and then a function that describes what they do. Then you can see here the run script function. And here is the other major consequence of now having serial communication activated. Previously, I had an operator in here for keyframing rotation on each individual axis, and I had to register a key map for that to allow the board to send it. But now, since I can send commands directly, I can just send this. I don't need to create or register another operator, and that just frees up the key map for any other add-ons or anything else. So right now there is only one operator that I need, and that is the one that basically says, tells the Blender add-on to open the serial connection and listen for the message that's coming from the Pico. And other than that, everything else should be able to be run as a script or a single line command. And then just to quickly demo some of the other functions. So we see in Grease Pencil, we've got brush size up and down, and then a sculpt mode toggle. So let's add a new, let's just get rid of this mesh. Let's add a Grease Pencil blank, and let's enter draw mode, and let's draw some stuff. Okay, so we're drawing. I'm going to adjust this Now we're drawing a slightly thicker line. Again, a slightly thicker line. Again, a slightly thicker line. Again, thicker. And now, okay, one more thick, and then we'll scale it back. Start drawing skinny again. So at the, tip of your finger, you've got this ability to change your brush size really quickly and easily. And then you also can push the button and it will enter sculpt mode, which will allow you to immediately start sculpting all of those presumably much better looking lines than I just did. Okay, and we'll just show off one more thing here. We can go into sculpt mode. There's something that you can do in sculpt mode called Voxel Remesh. So if you use Shift-R on your keyboard, that will create this overlay where you can drag your mouse to create a different size. And then click and Control-R, or sorry, Shift-R, it's Control-R, will actually remesh the voxels. So I'm going to undo that, and oops. So yeah, we're not remeshed. So you can see on Sculpt we have that assigned to a wheel. So it doesn't really give the nice visual feedback that having that overlay does, but you can achieve the same thing just by scrolling down, changing it. Now you see it's quite small. We can scroll it up again, and now it's larger. Same thing, larger again. Okay, and now we'll do a few cranks back to remesh it to a smaller size. And now it's remeshed. So again, doesn't have that nice visual overlay, but because we can access now scripts and because we can send these things back and forth, we can do all of this without registering any additional operators. So that is the status of the project today. I think the next step for me is going to be probably PCB design, and then getting a slightly more final version together, because I think the layout is pretty much coming together. I think this is more or less going to be what it is, because the form factor, I should say, this project started out as a commission. The form factor was one of the elements of that commission. This was roughly the size and shape of the device that we wanted to have in the end. So I don't want to go too crazy in terms of layout stuff. Okay, there's your update, folks. That's where the project is at. If you are able to support this project, you can head over to Ko-Fi, Patreon, and drop a little dollar in the bucket. That would help immensely. And if you have any thoughts, any comments, please leave them in the comment section, and I will check them out. If you think that there's a killer feature that this needs, if you think that there's a certain layout that it would really benefit from, I know I have a few other alternate layouts kicking around in my head. But yeah, as this sort of finalizes, if you think you would want one of these devices, if you think you would want to do something like a pre-order or anything like that, like a waiting list, or even I guess a mailing list is what I'm saying. Let me know when these things are more finished, more readily available. If you're interested in finished products, if you're interested in kits, let me know what you think. And until then, goodbye from me and the board. And we love you. You're beautiful. Bye.